Right, welcome our wonderful followers and subscribers. This is amazing reality channel. Today we bring to you the first episode of our story series. It's going to be awesome, moral, and a lot to benefit. Okay, let's go straight to the story of today. You know, it happened like this. Once upon a time, there was these two girls who were actually very close friends, Vera and Grace. Not just friends, but came out from the same community, the community in Edo State, precisely. They were very close and went to the same secondary school, and that increased their level of friendship and intimacy. They became very cordial, they became very intimate together. I'm talking about Vera and Grace. And now, at the end of their secondary school, they decided to attend the same university, wrote their JAM, did everything they are supposed to do. And now, to cut it short, they got admission into the same university, University of Benin, Uniben in particular. And then got admission and they started their schooling. Actually, the both of them went to the same department. And the lecture continued, and though they were staying differently in these different rooms in the school hostel, but after the first year, they both decided to stay outside the school and made up their mind to take apartment together, just one room apartment for the both of them as roommates, and this they did. So this they did, got a place and began to stay together as roommates. Year 1 passed, year 2, year 3, then they got to their final year in school. While they got to their final year in school, there was this lecturer who was still a bachelor, that is single, Mr. Johnson. And though he was one of the lecturers teaching and lecturing Grace and Vera, he became attracted to Vera, perhaps as a result of her level of intelligence. She was very intelligent, though Grace wasn't poor, but Vera was extremely intelligent. So he became attracted to her and fell in love with her. Became close to them, both Grace, and became their friend, though like a father, like a mentor and a tutor. So each time they finished their lectures, Mr. Johnson will take them back home, you know, stay with them briefly and goes back home. So after a while, though he didn't make it up to Vera that I want to get married to you, but they were just friends and just ordinary friends, knowing themselves, just like that. So deep inside the heart of Mr. Johnson, he has made up his mind to propose to Vera on a particular day. So getting to their final year, before the exam, they became closer and closer as he will always drop them home. So the exam commenced, he was still dropping them home at the end of each of the exams every day. Now, fast forwarding to the point of their exam, when they were writing their final year exams, the closeness between Vera and Mr. Johnson became intimate as people who are in love with each other. And this brought a very strong level of jealousy, envy, and pain per se in the heart of Grace. She became very uncomfortable, and things wasn't like before, though she was still trying to manage it within her, not to become too obvious. Then they continued, began their final year exam, like I said. Then at the end of the final year exam, the very last day of their exam, Mr. Johnson has made up his mind to propose to Vera. So at the end of the exam, he brought them back home that day and promised to return back to see them for a brief graduation ceremony, which he did. Now when they got home, Grace decided to buy juice. After the mind, they are going to drink together and rejoice, though having a very wrong plan, agenda in her heart against Vera to poison her on that day, because she had told herself that over her dead body would Vera get married to Mr. Johnson. So this she did. Towards the evening of it, as I've agreed, not too long here Mr. Johnson comes, he drove in, parked outside there, and the two of them came out, they greeted, rejoiced, and sat down. And Mr. Johnson said, I think this is the time for us to make merry. He actually brought some things, some drinks, and for them. So Grace went in, picked up the juice, filled 3 glasses of juice, deliberately poisoned that of Vera's glass of juice, poisoned it, and mixed all together. After this, she brought out a 3 cup of juice and handed one to Mr. Johnson, handed one to Vera, the one that was actually poisoned, and reserved a cup of juice. So not long, they were trying to make merry. Actually, Mr. Johnson started first, took a glass of juice, sipped. Vera was still holding her own in her hands. Not long, Grace's father called her and they asked to celebrate with her and congratulate her. So she quickly dropped a cup of juice and picked up the phone, went in to communicate with the dad. While she left, innocently, Vera looked at the cup of juice that belongs to Grace and felt this is smaller than mine. She bought the juice. She would have taken, the bigger one since she bought it, entertaining me and my friend Mr. Johnson to say. So she dropped a cup of juice, exchanged it with a Grace own that was a bit smaller, and she began to sip. So at the end of the call between Grace and the father, she came in not knowing what has happened, picked up the cup of juice that was poisoned for Vera and drank and began to enjoy herself. So this they did. After that, Mr. Johnson proposed to Vera of a truth, and she agreed and she accepted. If it were you, what would you do? So she agreed, and they all rejoiced. Grace congratulated her, but deep inside her heart, she was waiting for the sad news of Vera's death, not knowing what has happened. Now, at the end of that, they rejoiced, and Mr. Johnson decided to go back and promised to come back the next day to see them. So Mr. Johnson left and drank, and at the end of everything, went back into the room. Not long, it was between the hour of 8 to 9 p.m., a terrible pain began. Grace began to lament of a terrible stomach pain. This is so painful and terrible. And, Vera thought she would be able to manage the situation, but it became too obvious that she had to contact Mr. Johnson to come in and assist them. Mr. Johnson came, and what is happening to Grace? Nobody can tell. Just complaining of a terrible stomach pain. They rushed out to the hospital. Getting to the hospital, the doctor was not around. They waited, and a few minutes later, doctor entered. Just to commence the treatment, Grace gave up the ghost and died. It became so painful that the tears began to flow. Vera cried uncontrollably. God, why? Why have you allowed my friend to go like this? What has happened to her? What could be this? Who has done this to her? God, why? This was a cry. Even Mr. Johnson lamented, and it was painful. It was very painful. In fact, they cried all through, but what to do? This is not the end of the story. Part 2 is coming soon. Follow us, subscribe, comment, tell us your view, comment, let's interact, then watch out for the part 2 of the story. Let's see the fate of Mr. Johnson and that of Vera, and let's see what happened next. Thank you.